31 August 2020, and I'm joined by Mr. Tinashe Jonas from Ideal Zimbabwe. How are you, sir?
Very blessed, and you too.
Fantastic. So today I want us to talk about the abductions that have been very topical. If you look at the South African media, it's almost as if someone is being abducted every day in Zimbabwe. But I want us to specifically talk about the abduction of the young journalist called Tawanda Mchehiwa. I hope I've got his name correct. What are your views on his abduction?
Okay, yeah. His case is not particular or unique. It's a reference to any other story of abduction. So I won't treat it in particular, but referencing to it, there are some dynamics that people are ignoring here. Number one, Chamisa is on record, especially his last rally at Rufaro Stadium, that he counted 6 fights to the government of Zimbabwe, or to ED. So when Chamisa declares a fight to ED, people, they ignore that. Number two, MDC Alliance is on record that ED must go, ZANU-PF must go. In political terms, what does that mean? It contaminates the war political scenario. It's a declaration of war. When an opposition party wants to remove the president, wants to remove the ruling party, that's a war. It's called a civil war. And people are ignoring that. People are ignoring that. Chamisa has literally declared war on ED. MDC Alliance has declared war on ZANU-PF. Meaning, if ZANU-PF are not fighting right now, then they are themselves to blame. If ED is not fighting Chamisa right now, he's himself to blame. Because my own knowledge, ED has got the army, ED has got the police, ED has got the intelligence. If ED responds, Chamisa and Tendai Biti, they are saying they can't breathe. If ED responds, surely they won't respond. And Chamisa must be in exile. From the way things are projected by Chamisa and Fadzai Mahere, surely they must be talking on SABC platform, while they are in South Africa, while they are in Zambia, or they are in Washington, D.C. To me, it's witchcraft for MDC to purport that people are not safe in Zimbabwe, while Fadzai Mahere is talking with nice makeup, eyelashes are done, nails are nice, are beautiful, and Chamisa is comfortable in his house. We must see them talking on SABC while they're in hiding. So those things are being ignored by people. MDC Alliance is trying everything to remove ED, to remove ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF to me is actually docile. I expect ZANU-PF to roll in their machinery, and Chamisa must be crushed. Because Chamisa is declared war, and he doesn't have a gun, he doesn't have anything. And now he is crying. If ZANU-PF declared a war on Ian Smith, and their comrades died, their comrades were tortured, their comrades were in prison, Chamisa is declaring war on ED, and he is not expecting any injury, he is not expecting anyone to be handcuffed, nothing. Then that revolution is not a revolution. That's number one. Then number two, the Gudira Jecha mantra is not just Gudira Jecha. It's called, it's a tactic to code. Remember, the social media, most online social media platforms are owned by Jonathan Moyo or the G40. Chamisa has partnered G40. G40 are bankrolling him, and the West that are bankrolling him. This media tirade, it's not it doesn't need a rocket scientist to know that SABC, they are being bankrolled. Peter Ndoro is being bankrolled by G40 and the Chamisa Alliance to blacklist ED and blacklist Zimbabwe. in anticipation that SADC would convene a meeting, in anticipation that AU would convene a meeting, in anticipation that the US and the European Union or NATO would invade Zimbabwe. So this media coordination, the abduction, is a coordinated effort to make sure that because Chamisa doesn't believe him and G40 can remove Mnangagwa or ZANU-PF. They believe if they make so much social media noise, South Africa or SADC or AU is going to remove ED. Because if the young boy was kidnapped by, let's say according to their version, the young boy was kidnapped by CIOs. Why is the Bulawayo province chair lady or chairwoman for women assembly is like a key player in this whole matrix? I heard that they suspended her. So why is the abduction then laid upon the state, laid upon the ZANU-PF or ED, and they are ignoring their chair lady in the whole matrix? Are we not having MDC Alliance factions or MDC as a party having, we know that it breaks away into different small parts every day? Why are we not giving a possibility that this can be an internal MDC work? I'm not defending ED, I'm not defending ZANU-PF, but I'm saying only the permutations. We are not creating any permutation of factional fight. We are not putting in MDC internal fights. Everything is ED, everything is ZANU-PF. Although a key official of the party is involved, and everyone would ignore that.
Okay, so Mr. Jonas, if there had not been CCTV footage, were the police going to agree that they had Tawanda?
Okay. Without not sounding prophetic, but what conclusion do we have about the CCTV? Because I want to explain one thing here. What is a definition of an abduction? An abduction is the unlawful, let me say, maybe it's more like a kidnap. But in Zimbabwe, the definition of an abduction, when someone is taken by police, when someone is taken by CIOs, it's taken by the military, it's taken as an abduction. Yet, when police arrest someone, Opochimono was arrested, but it came out from the lawyer Beatrice Mtetwa as an abduction. Because they didn't have a warrant of arrest, they didn't have one or two things. But we all know that Opochimono is applying for bail. Why would you apply for bail if you're arrested? So they are saying Imbala Car Rendau, was playing a part into the abduction. What is an abduction when someone to me, I think there's no conclusive evidence that the CCTV is not pointing out that the person who abducted was sent by the state.
Okay, so you are saying this CCTV footage could have been part of staging the abduction?
Yeah, because what names do we have of the people who abducted? Number one. Number two, are these people, what are their titles? Are they police officers? Are they central intelligence officers? Are they the military intelligence? Are they ZANU-PF members? We are, from the CCTV, we are not told the names of these people, and are they working for the government? And what are their official positions within the government?
Okay, but when they were moving around Bulawayo, Tawanda says they were saying ferrets. Is there no team ferrets?
Thank you. The word team ferret is known and is on record, created by Jonathan Moyo. Everyone knows that. The word team ferret is coined by Jonathan Moyo. So this Tawanda boy is playing the script. If he's using the word team ferret, it's Jonathan Moyo. It's then adopted by zimi.com. Tawanda, sorry, Simba, the woman, Chkanza, and the boy is just playing to the gallery.
Okay, but here in South Africa, we've got another two people here. There's Josephat Muzakangulube and Notolo. They just ran away from Zimbabwe. They say they are running away from the same abductors.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mr. Gambagwe, without, let's be real. When the government wants to kill you, to abduct you, they can start from your cell phones. They've got the capacity to tape your cell phones, to listen to your phones, to track you down. Secondly, you escape from Zimbabwe, which is fine. Are we saying the government of Zimbabwe doesn't have the capacity to kill someone in South Africa?
Okay, that's what these two are saying. They are currently hiding at a police station.
Okay.
Notolo and Josephat. They are currently, as we speak, in hiding.
Okay. Anyone, I can jump into a police station and say I'm hiding from people who are following me. Remember, this narrative is always not found much in the justice system. These people were supposed to hide in South Africa, then seeking protection from the South African government. Look, every abduction plays more into the media than why would you be on SABC everywhere? Your first name, your surname, are you hiding? A person who is hiding, who escaped assassination, can't even breathe. These people, they are in South Africa, they ran from Zimbabwe, they were not safe. They are in South Africa, they are not safe. Why are they not running into another country, Swaziland or Lesotho? But now that they are not safe in South Africa, what is the second country they are running to? Is the media. Abductions are always playing in the media. It's SABC, it's ZimI, it's whatever. I mean, we have got people who have been abducted and they've died. So these abductions are playing in the media. Chamisa is desperate. Jonathan Moyo is desperate. Kasukuere is desperate. These fights of abductions, they are to force ED to a dialogue. They are to force SADC or America or European Union to remove ED by force, and it won't happen.
Okay, Mr. Jonas, I think you have clearly explained your views on these abductions. So I want us to wrap it up. Is Chamisa going to benefit if this continues? Let's say ED is removed. Is Chamisa going to be the first beneficiary? Are there no other people that could be using these abductions besides Chamisa?
Okay. Remember, as we speak right now, the civil society has been hijacked by the imperialists. MDC Alliance has been hijacked and adopted by imperialists, and in form of also G40. People are thinking ED must go, ZANU-PF must go. But Zimbabweans are forgetting that Chamisa is ZANU-PF. Chamisa is the G40. ED is a Lacoste. So when MDC Alliance supporters, the Chamisa Chete choir members, are saying ED, ZANU-PF must go, they are wrong. They must say ED must go, not Chamisa must go, ZANU-PF must go. Because ED and Chamisa are both ZANU-PF, but they are in different factions. ED is leading the Lacoste faction, Chamisa is leading the G40 faction. So this is ZANU-PF. In other words, ZANU-PF is fighting its own. Chamisa G40 with Jonathan Moyo and Kasukuere, ED is leading the Lacoste. So This is ZANU-PF fighting. The first republic is the G40. The second republic is the Lacoste. So any Zimbabwean who is celebrating that ED must go, if you say ED must go, you are right. But don't say ZANU-PF must go. Because Chamisa is a ZANU-PF, but it's a G40.
Okay, so what are the chances of a third hand being at play, carrying out these abductions so that ED can look bad, but not to remove ZANU-PF, but to make change internally in ZANU-PF?
Remember, in any political formations, there are very ambitious people. So I've got a problem when abductions, every abductee is very fluent in the media. I've got a problem because it doesn't mean that every activist. Remember, most of these are not activists actually. They are cash-vists. It doesn't mean that everyone who is abducted is fluent in terms of talking. But we are seeing a pattern that every abductee is very good in the media. Tawanda is even a media journalist. We are getting people who are very fluent. So in other words, the government is only targeting people who are fluent. A third party can be involved, but seriously, why would be every abduction play out in the media?
Okay, and then now let's look at Mduduzi Matutu.
Yeah,
he owns this newspaper, and he is related to Tawanda, and then Josephat is related to Nokolo, but all of them are sort of like connected. What role does Matutu play in this whole thing?
The mastermind, the professor here is Jonathan Moyo. Jonathan Moyo coaches Mduduzi, and all these young boys, they're under his classroom. But the professor, the tutor is Jonathan Moyo. It's clear that it's a close unity. It's students of Jonathan Moyo.
Okay, Mr. Tinashe Jonas, this topic is very difficult because if you look in the media in South Africa, the whole country is convinced that there are abductions in Zimbabwe. What do you think the government of Idi Mnangagwa can do? Can they not do better investigations? Okay.
Number one, Idi's government is, I can say that they are more like sleeping on duty, because they are not, number one, they must put laws. Chamisa is treated by ED like a prince of Zimbabwe. Chamisa is damaging the brand Zimbabwe. Chamisa is all over the world. Chamisa wants to be a president. And then he is allowed by the country, by the Second Republic, is allowing Chamisa to damage the whole country because of his hunger for power. I think, to me, ED is too soft. He's too soft, and the government is found napping. They are not defending the name of the country. They are not. They must deal with Chamisa. Chamisa must be dealt with. Otherwise, if me, I'm a citizen, one day I think I can end up doing whatever I can to grab Chamisa and beat him up.
Okay, so let's go to the issue of what they can do, because I'm sure they've arrested Job Scala, Ngari Vume is in jail, Hopo Chingono is in jail. I don't think they can do any further, because Chamisa is not connected to these demonstrations directly or to these abductions directly.
Chamisa, remember, Chamisa wants to be a president. Jonathan Moyo, his chances to be voted into power in Zimbabwe are slim. So Jonathan Moyo is fronting Chamisa. So this whole thing is G40 and Chamisa is the whole thing. This 31 July, it's a G40 project, obviously bankrolled by the West, which we are talking about the US, I mean, in particular. Chamisa is involved. You remember Chamisa was saying, pane uyu atikoka kuhumwe yake, referring to Ngarivume, and humwe yakanaka. He endorsed the 31 July. Chamisa, we know, doesn't endorse any activity which doesn't have him as the boss. Chamisa doesn't want any politician to get the glory or limelight beside him. So for Chamisa to endorse 31 July, it's clear that it was arranged by him. Jacob Ngarivume was just a friend because he wanted money. Jacob Ngarivume doesn't command 5,000 people in Zimbabwe. He can't call a demonstration in Zimbabwe. He was tapping into, it was the MDC Alliance. Jacob Ngarivume can't win as a ward councillor.
Okay, so let's look at the injuries now. The young man Tawanda was injured during the beatings, was kept in a secret location.
Okay.
And he was released after a court order. Do you think they also beat him up, or what happened there with the injuries?
Okay. Let's take it that this young boy was kidnapped. Okay, was kidnapped by state agencies. If the state kidnaps the young boy, and we are told that the courts are also captured by ED. So why would the magistrate bring back someone kidnapped by the state agencies? Because according to MDC Alliance, the courts are run by ED, the CIOs are run by ED. So why would the court have the power to bring? Was a kidnap. People who kidnap a human being, they do it unlawfully. They will never respond to a judgment, whether a high court or Supreme Court. It's only in Zimbabwe that you can hear that kidnappers released an abductee because there was a court judgment. That doesn't make sense anywhere in the world. Because I mean, why would you release someone? Why would you follow a law? Because abducting, it's unlawful. It's illegal.
Okay, so Mr. Jonas, I think let's bring this to an end. And the last question I want to ask you is, the country's image is battered. If you go in the past 3 months, Zimbabwe's image is so bad, but it doesn't seem to be helping either the opposition or the ruling party. What would you suggest should be done, which is obviously not a legal process like arresting people? What else can we do as Zimbabweans to solve the image problems that we have?
Okay, number one, I would say this to President Mnangagwa. President Mnangagwa, you are trying to be too different from President Robert Mugabe, and thereby you are giving Nelson Chamisa too much room to mess you up. I'm saying this to ZANU-PF as a party. You are becoming too soft, trying to be democratic for international engagement. Or maybe sanctions to be removed. Chamisa has been given too much room to mess up everyone because he wants to be a president. Then I go on to Nelson Chamisa and say, Nelson Chamisa, you are allowed to be ambitious. You are allowed to want to be a president of Zimbabwe. That is within your rights. That is within your personal, privilege as a Zimbabwean citizen. But to damage the name Zimbabwe, to make sure that everyone in the country suffers because you want to be a president. Personally, I am of your age. I'm asking you in the month of September to shut up and have your strategies to become a president. Leave the name Zimbabwe. Don't damage the country you are damaging is also my country. Personally, Chamisa, I can promise you that I can hand you down. If you continue doing the gesture, by end of September, I'm going to hand you down and I'm going to beat you up.
Right. That is where we're going to end this. And I hope Chamisa got the message. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
I'm saying to Chamisa, I'm not playing. I'm going to hand you like an animal. The way you say, and you and Fadzai Mahere says Zimbabwe is no one is safe. End of September, you must be in exile to prove you are not safe. Otherwise, Chamisa, I'm going to give you 30 days. I'm going to look for you.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jonasi. I'll have you again next week as we continue to discuss all the issues that are taking place in Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.